morning, guys. Or good morning, good afternoon, good evening, something like that. It's sometime during the day. So today, we're back again for Thursday night paint nights. And we're here. I'm a couple minutes late. I'm going to tell you, we're here because it's really hot out today, and I spent a good portion of the day out today. So I might not be all together with it, but we're going to talk about some Warhammer stuff. I still got some orcs that we're painting, and I just wanted to put these guys up here. You've seen these guys from Armageddon. We got that. We got the War Bus. We got the Banner Waver we're working with. And if I was a little bit more prepared for tonight, I would have set up my second camera, but I was not quite prepared. Just running a little late. So we're working on some characters for the orcs. And really, I want to kind of bring out some of that yellow a little bit more because I think it's just a little too drab at this point. Trying to soak up some of that color for the bad moons. And then I've got all kinds of like leather workings, and I got all kinds of colors to work on. So we're going to work on a bunch of stuff and talk about some Warhammer stuff and see what comes up. So I did a little video on Sunday. The boys kind of wanted to do something with Lake Clan Legends as well as on here, and I figured it would be a good chance for everybody to kind of just see what's going on for maybe the people that are paying attention a little bit more. Did have a couple people pop on. Nobody really chatted, but that's okay because we were just kind of working through some stuff on our own. But yeah, so I did put out that they got a ton of stuff for birthday and their first paycheck, which of course for them is incredibly exciting because there's nothing better than that first paycheck when you have no bills yet, and you just get a really impressive check all at one shot. So it's probably more money than they've had for a while. So they did a little shopping. Of course, my birthday was last week. So same thing. I got a couple gifts that kind of it's got to help flesh out this orc army a little bit. So we're gonna go. I didn't bring any of that stuff down, so that's okay. But I did get the Armageddon battalion box. My paint dried on my paintbrush. I'm so sorry. So we're gonna work this in a little bit. I did get the Armageddon battalion box, and I did leave the box here. The Boondocka Schnazwagon. I have no idea if it's any good or not. It looks pretty decent. We're gonna run with it. I'm excited about it. I just like saying it. It's one of the most orky names out there. So we're gonna work on building that. I built that one. I built a couple of the Def Copters. I'm not quite through it all, but I kind of wanted to get into some painting, catch up on some of the stuff's been going on. So because we've been a little busy over the weekend with, like I said, last week there was a lot of birthday stuff. So Logan's birthday was earlier in the week. Mine was later. We did a little bit extra stuff for everybody, kind of make sure that everybody feels okay about stuff. You know, it's not always easier getting older. And of course, Logan, of course, is 16, believe it or not. So I think he's going to be working on maybe wanting a car and driving before too long. But we'll see how that goes. I did give him the permit paper here in Pennsylvania. I did give him the permit papers, but he hasn't even filled them out. So I'm letting him make that final decision as far as that goes. And then, yeah, like I said, we're doing some orc stuff. Gonna do some couple extra layers for this yellow. Just try to bring up the color to the right medium. And of course, it's orcs, so I'm not looking for a nice crisp yellow. I'm looking for maybe a more tattered, more threadbare yellow. And I think that would be a little more interesting than trying to go for this hyper focused yellow. So I'm going to kind of work those colors up a little bit. And we'll see what we come up with. I'm very happy with the orc models at this point. I've not been an orc player before 11th edition, so I'm still kind of working out my details as far as what I want to play, how I want to play it. I do have every intention to get onto Tabletop Simulator and try to work some lists together. But you know what? When it really comes down to it, I really like to just put the models on the table and see how they work out. That always seems to work a little bit better for me. And I typically play more elite type armies, so playing orcs is definitely a drive in a different direction. So, but we're going to keep getting a couple games in, see what we're going to like if it comes down to it. And I don't like it, then maybe one of the boys will attach to it. But it's nice to have different armies in the house that we can play with and kind of get an idea of, tournament prep, game prep, stuff like that. There's always all kinds of fun stuff we can do. So, again, just trying to build up that yellow. Color's a little washed out from my light, and I apologize for that. It's actually quite a bit darker, I think. But I think it looks good. I'm kind of happy with it. And I am not a veteran yellow painter, so it's getting what it gets, and I'm going to keep playing with it until I'm happy with it. And we'll see how that goes. So today was just to drive out a little bit, just to explain what happened. Well, in my work, we kind of each have our own space to work in. And I ran into the situation where the parts got ordered wrong for the car that I was working on. Because we are at capacity and the need arose, I was working outside most of the day. It did reach at least 90 some degrees today. I want to say 93 was the highest I saw. So it was a bit much today. But it's okay, because now we're home and things are cooling off. And we're definitely working on getting some better situation going. Got the air conditioner running. Everything seems to be working in the right direction. So, yeah. So I'm going to try and do all the little threading. I think I'm going to do like a blue color on all the threading throughout the banner. I think that'll be nice contrast. Give a little bit different color. I was considering maybe a purple, but I think that might be too much. Let me see if I get a little. I got some skulls here, and of course the horns on the top of the banner. Oops. Let's see if we can get some bone-colored paint. Logan goes through a bunch of it, so hopefully he didn't wear me out here. It's okay. I have more. Just worst case scenario, I can work on something different. I think this one's pretty much tapped out. All right. So just have some army painter skeleton bone I'm working with. If I can get it out of the bottle. I got two of them that are almost tapped. What are these kids doing to me? That's okay. All right. Maybe we won't work. We'll let those come out a little bit. See if I can work them down. I should have another bone in here, but I don't know where it is. All right. So we'll work on something else. See if we can get that to come down a little bit. Now there is a little squig on the bottom of this guy's base. I'm going to see if I can bring that up right there where my finger is. Let's work on that guy a little bit. And I think we're just going to do weird colors. Maybe an orange squig. So I have some squigs with essentially the old world, but old fantasy models. And I basically, when I did those, I just picked a color and painted the model. So I figure I'll just do the same, do some weird color that is completely unorky. We'll paint that squig that color. I don't know if anybody's seen. There is, if you're a subscriber to the Warhammer newsletter, they give away some free wallpaper art, which was pretty interesting. They had some pretty cool ones. If you're into Necrons, there was a neat one. They had the Chaos Lord that's on the two-headed dragon. A couple other ones. Those were the ones that really appealed to me. A Necromunda one. I forget what else. I downloaded them all. I'm just like that. Or I think I did. Oops. So there was... Oh, yeah, they had the Exodites. That one's pretty cool. If you haven't seen that one, I like that one a lot. The Exodites. And then the Chaos Lord. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter and you want some cool wallpaper, oh yeah, let me do this. I like that one. So if you're a Necron player, that's a good one to get. If you want them, they're free. I'm sure you could probably snipe them on the internet somewhere too, but if you want the legit ones, and they're formatted for your phone or for desktop, there's two different files. I thought it was pretty cool. The little things like that I always appreciate when they give out. You know, they don't have to give art away for free, that's for sure. They paid somebody to do it. Though I typically don't think anybody's art should be free. Everybody takes a little something to do what they do. So yeah, there's a lot more building of colors on these orcs than I thought there was going to be. I thought they were going to be kind of like a splash of paint and done, splash of this and done, but they're actually proving a little more intricate than I expected, which is good because I always like a nice painting challenge. Certainly wasn't like that Warhound Titan, but there's a lot more of them. A lot more of them. Hey, Jeff, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking the orcs. I think they're a lot of fun. I do some more, get them on the tabletop again. Like I said, we have had a lot of, been pretty busy the past couple weeks or so. But getting the boys to get their stuff together. Yeah, I know, nothing's quitting. And the weird thing is, I was not a good Necron painter. I couldn't get into it. I bought those Necrons, couldn't get into them. Actually left them for quite a bit. I had such a good idea with them, but I don't know. So, but it's okay. I like them. Got the war boss. He's moving along. Trying to find that nice spot where the camera works and the light works all at the same time. I don't know. I should have set up my phone. I like the boss. He's kind of cool. He needs a lot more work. And the doc. And the banner. If I didn't show him. So, yeah, Logan bailed on me today. He's playing video games with his brother today, so he's got priorities. But for him, today is Friday, so he has off. No work, no band, no nothing tomorrow. So he's enjoying that idea. And I kind of like that idea. Actually, to be honest, I have not these. Well, I think they're the same brand. I like these. They're reasonable. You can get a whole pack on Amazon. I think this set like this. This is a bigger one. Bigger brush sizes, stuff like that. I have these. And then the Nick Pro, I think they are. You can get on Amazon too. You can get rounds about, like 20 brushes on Amazon for about 15, 16 bucks. Just an assortment. That's if you're just looking to get brushes to get. If you're trying to get fancy brushes that you really want to last a while, there's plenty of places you can buy. We have a store right down the street here called Dick Blick. They have some really nice ones. And then I like, do I have them here? So from Michael's, if you have a Michael's near you, there's called Zen brushes. They hold a nice tip. I use these for a little bit more, not necessarily the finer brushes, but for the flats and for the angles. I like those a lot. And then of course, like these, the Nick Pros are like these, the triangle shaped ones, and I like them as far as the grip. I don't know that they last quite as long as I want them to, but they're reasonably cheap. So if you go through them, they're not too bad. Anything for like dry brushing or details or stuff that you're just going to smash up your brushes, just buy cheap brushes. It's not really a big deal. But if you want a nice set, I like the Onsens and the Nick Pros. Those are probably my favorite. They're a nice mid-range brush. And I think they hold up similar to what the Army Painter ones or the Citadel ones at a much better price. I hope that answers your question. If you're just getting into the hobby, a cheap brush is actually better until you find your style and how much, how often you're willing or able to buy brushes. So, but the Nick Pros are really good. I think on one of I should have a gift video. If you go back through my videos, there is a set on Amazon that's in one of those that you can check out, and that's a kit that I buy every so often. I mean, I really only buy brushes maybe once a year, but I really try to take good care of them. Don't stand them up, put them away, don't let them out, don't let paint dry on them, stuff like that. That's the big stuff. As long as you can keep past that, you do pretty good. So yeah, I think that pretty much answers the question. I like the Nick Pros because of how cheap they are. I like the Zens because they're really nice quality and they do hold up. And really, whatever you're kind of working on is going to be your best bet. I mean, availability is always the hardest thing, but Amazon is probably the best standard for anybody getting a hold of something. So I've been painting for quite a few years at this point, so there's an acceptable loss. But I'd rather paint on a budget. Yeah. Cat Mama says I almost always get some free brushes every time when I buy a pack from the store. I used to buy. Yeah. So I mean, as long as they got the right tip that you need, that's really the magic. I think it's all in just what you're looking for, and everything gets a little more comfortable the more you work with it. I said I really like the Nick Pros because they hold up well. Hey Chris, how you doing? So we're painting some orcs tonight. Talking about paintbrushes. So yeah, I'm working on my banner knob, which I just want to call a banner waver all the time. My kids are always auto-correcting me. But yeah, I'm enjoying painting the orcs. They're a little more challenging than I first thought they would be. And I think putting a little more care than I did the last time I painted. Bussiana Bonazzi. Best one for a very reasonable price. Oh, yeah? Where do you get those from? Can you get those like on Amazon or? Because I don't know that I've heard of them. Citadel brushes. Citadel brushes are okay. I think they're a little overpriced, but they hold up good. Like I said, I tend to use like the Nick Pros. I like those a lot, and I like the these Onsens. I don't have the Nick Pros down here at the moment. I have that one. Hold on, yeah, Nick Pro. Come on, focus on the brush. So, yeah, they're Italian. I figured they were Italian by the name. But yeah, I like these Nick Pros, and to be honest with you, for the price, I think they hold up well. Some of the bigger ones get a little curved, but I think it's more, you set them in your water and leave them. It's more abusive than anything else. And I use brushes hard. I paint all the time. So, 3-4 times a week, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So sometimes I paint for 10 minutes. Sometimes I paint for 2 hours. So I'm going to see if I can look that up, though. Porcian Bonazzi, best one, very priced. So the Nick Pros, like you can get sets of them on Amazon for, I think they're like $16.99 for like 20 brushes or something like that, which is on the cheaper side. And don't get me wrong, they don't hold up forever. But the fact of the matter is, they do hold up okay. So I typically only buy brushes maybe once, twice a year. So they really do hold up well. And the other ones that I get are the Zen ones from Michaels. I had one here. Royal and Langnickel Zen. And of course, I have my fingers right in the way. And of course, it's a silver paintbrush with white lettering, so it's really hard to see. But yeah, these hold up pretty well too. I mean, I've probably had this brush for 2 years. And you can go straight into your local Michaels if you have a local Michaels, and right with all the other brushes. And of course, like I said, we have a place called Dick Blick that's right down the street here. I think they're a little more local, but they have a lot of good quality brushes too. I just don't remember all the names because even though they're just down the street, I don't use all of them that much. They also deal in higher end brushes like oil paint brushes and so on and so forth. So, which is obviously not what I'm looking for all the time. If I have something that I really want to get into and I want a really good paint job, then yeah, I'll buy a nicer brush. But I just think that in most cases, a simple brush gets you pretty far. So, I mean, the Nick Pro ones are like I said, like almost $20 for 20 brushes. So right around $1 a piece. Where the Citadel ones are like $8. I used to buy B&B. I used to buy B&B made in Kolinsky Martin, 10 euros. But I had a brush holding half a year with no trouble. And I paint quite a lot. They don't make them anymore. That's always a shame. I hate when they stop making stuff. I think they're limited to Europe. Yeah, because I haven't heard of them. Now it's just synthetic stuff, way cheaper, but they don't last nearly as much. Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's always the trade-off, because I would love to have brushes that last for a really long time, but I don't know that I'm willing to pay the price for a brush that lasts a really long time. You know? Because I think I get annoyed when, even like the Citadel brushes, like they're decent. They're a decent brush. Um, I, I don't like that there's limited sizes, but because I always like to pick my own stuff, you know? Yeah, same. I would like to be in Italy, and if I ever go to Italy, you know, I'll have to look up those paintbrushes, but I can't see myself going to Italy anytime soon. So I'm gonna have to stick with my local stores. Yeah, Michael's actually has some decent ones. I'm fine, and I'm fairly certain Dick Blick is fairly local to this area. Now they do have an online site, so you could order stuff online. But I definitely like looking. Yeah, Dick Blick's the actual name. It's crazy, isn't it? So yeah, but they really do. They have some high quality stuff. I mean, the nice thing is they used to have, and this is quite a few years back at this point, but they used to have a warehouse that was only like 10 minutes from here. And you could go there and pick out, you could like pick out from the catalog what you wanted to buy, and you could actually get a discount if you went straight up to the warehouse. Now they moved the warehouse, and I don't know, it might still be there, but I don't think you can buy stuff directly from the warehouse. But that's how I got introduced to it. Um, they just the warehouse was right up the street, and one of my friends, a family member of theirs, worked at the warehouse, so we could just go up to the door, the warehouse door, and just, okay, we want this, we want this, we want this, colored pencils, or whatever. It was before. Don't judge. It was before I was really into crafting all that much. So um, some of the stuff I would like to get from there now is a little more expensive. But I actually live in a pretty decent area, because um, there's a lot of crafting stuff that's around here. So whether I'm painting miniatures, or making terrain, or working on my Star Wars props, or whatever, there's a lot of places that I can do around here that really kind of helps out. One of the big epoxy companies has a showroom maybe 15 minutes from my house, right up thing, Smooth On, so that you can go right up to Smooth On and get some really cool stuff if you're into epoxies or stuff like that. And then when, like, even for like boxes and stuff like that, we have a U line that's up here that you can just get. You can go to the warehouse and order it and walk right up to the warehouse and get stuff. It's actually pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff around here. In fact, I'm due for a trip up to Smooth On again sometime soon. And that's just a whole experience. So, like I said, they do epoxies and stuff like that, and molding not kits, but molding supplies and stuff like that. There's one brand of synthetic brushes that was superior even to Borsiani and Banazzi ones. I bought them in a Chinese shop. They had wax tips or something. Wow. That's kind of cool. And never found them again. Oh, that's sad. That really does drive me crazy. I like when you can just walk into a store and be like, oh, I want one of those. Or get something that's you find something that really works for you, and then you can never find it again. I mean, I have a couple oddball brushes like that here that I liked, that I'm almost like saving for when I need them because I don't want to use them up and not be able to get them again. Well, I don't think they're here. I think these are all my beat up brushes at this point. But my brushes go on a journey with me. So I always start with the beautiful tips, and everything works real nice and got all the right color, all the right motions, and I can get into just the right places and stuff like that. And then slowly over time, they become a little more worn and a little less precise. And then, eventually they become dry brushes and terrain brushes and stuff like that as they go on through their life journey. So very rarely is a brush just done with me. I found it's Arctic's paint from Spain. I've heard of Arctic's, but I've never used them. 3 brushes for €3. That's amazing. I've heard of them. I can't remember where I heard that name before. Probably because I watch a lot of painters myself, so probably from one of them. But I'm always a big fan of trying to find these little bit obscure from Spain. I swear I've heard that name before. I mean, and a $1 a brush is amazing price. It really is. So the nice thing is, like, Michael's always has like a sale. There's always a sale if you know how to look for it. Whether it's on the app or you buy them online or something like that. So I'm very appreciative to that. Like I said, I buy a lot of my newer or better brushes from Michael's when I'm looking for something specific. But there you go. There you go. If you find them, send some to me. I'd appreciate it. I'd like to try it for $3, Unfortunately, I don't know when I'm going to get to Spain next. I would like it to be soon, but I don't think it's going to happen. I need like a little bit of white. So I am working on my wet palette here, so I'm not just having a stroke over here painting the table. I don't know. Now we're going to have to go on a journey. We're going to have to look for more paintbrushes. Not paints. I got plenty of paints. I think if I bought more paints, I'd get in trouble. No, I doubt it. That's not actually true. But I always like new paintbrushes. Always down for a new paintbrush that I haven't seen before. All right, let's do. Get some gray here. Let's use some of this up. We're gonna color that in a little bit, but I figured to do a nice base of gray. Then we'll bring that color up a little bit. I'm painting my squig by accident. We'll have to fix him. Yeah. I don't know. I'm always a big fan. If I could find, I would love to run a craft store. That's the realistic part. I would just like to have a craft store so that I could just buy the stuff so I could try it out, see if it's worth selling. I'm definitely a big fan of that kind of stuff. I could be a product tester. Unfortunately, I think I'd buy more stuff than they reimbursed me for. But hey, I spent, what was that? I spent about 2 hours last night breaking down the 40K hobby for a few people last night that are interested in the hobby. Well, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I find myself explaining Warhammer to people that I never would expect. And that's cool. But you can always send them this way. Send them to my videos. We talk about all kinds of stuff. Yeah, this is actually my dad's. I've had that for a ton of years. That's awesome. I know there was a time where I actually was considering getting rid of it, but it's such a staple around here that I don't know that I could actually part with it. I need to actually fill it with alcohol, and that would probably help. Be a good reason to keep it around, you know. To be honest with you, right now, it's got D&D stuff in it, so yeah. Oh yeah. Who from the guild was interested in Warhammer? That's pretty cool. A few months ago, secondhand market. It's glorious. Nah, this has been this is like a family heirloom at this point. Just so you know, this thing might be almost as old as I am. I hate to say it. So if you got your secondhand, that's pretty awesome. So yes, and I didn't think we would talk about this, but so in this case, so let me get my stuff out of the way here. I'll turn this just a little bit. So this turns on its own, and then you can open it. And there is all the constellations in there. And then this will turn. And this will turn separately. And like I said, right now, I have my DM screen. I have all my DM notes. I have a dagger. It's just a replica. Some other stuff. Actually, Logan still has his DM notes in here. Some light bulbs. Hey, those are light bulbs for the lamp. And business cards. So, yeah, it's actually really cool. It's all spaced out. It's actually designed so that you can put your bottles around the outside, and then you can put your tub with the ice in the middle, or you can put your bigger bottles in there, or your like hand kegs or something like that. So it's actually pretty cool. I actually considered, now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about putting alcohol back in it. It's been a while. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Like I said, it was my dad's before it was mine. And then, so when he passed, I brought it home, and it's had many functions. It stored a lot of stuff. It's made to offer James Bond a brandy from 1971 as his last drink. Really? Okay, now that's pretty cool. I didn't know there was a past to these things. I just thought it was cool. Like I said, it was my dad's, so I kind of hung on to it. But that's actually really neat. That's awesome. Yeah. So if you got one, take good care of it. I'm not getting rid of mine, so there won't be another one in the market anytime soon. In fact, the one aide that comes around here, she always trying to steal alcohol from us, so it's probably a good idea to bring it down here and hide it from her. Though I don't think she's coming back because she was not very good. I don't know. I don't think I like that. Put orange in one of these little squares here. Let's see if I can bring that up. And I think it just looks weird. So that's what we're working on. Right there. Yay. It focuses. All right. Yeah, so I got that guy working. I dive back into this. Trying to do all my little banners here. That's pretty neat. I'm very excited about the what do you call that? Villain's alcohol globe. That's pretty awesome. I never realized I had that kind of a past. I like it. You guys teach me something today. Yeah, we did. It was a hot day today. I think that's pretty cool. I'm sorry. I'm like tweaking out about it. I don't think anybody's ever commented on it. I'm gonna definitely have to look that up later. Inglorious Bastards. I've seen that movie too. I don't remember that. Oh wait, maybe I do. I don't know. That was a little while ago I saw that. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm all beside myself about it now. But we're definitely gonna. I, see now, I can see that. My problem is that I have a very nice collection of bottles, most of them gifts from friends that travel abroad. Brandy from Armenia, rum from Australia, liquors made in monasteries. Dang. What? None of your friends drink? Just so you know, I didn't say it. No, I got that. I don't have a problem with. I work in automotive. Everybody drinks a little bit, just to get through the day. No. I'm kidding. Just to deal with what happened during the day, maybe. So, but that's neat. I'm really kind of excited about it. The villains. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know. My dad's had this for. He had that for. I don't even know how long. I mean, my dad passed away 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, and I've had it here since then. But it's been floating around for as long as I can remember. It's kind of hard to believe. Kind of hard to believe it's been 20 years. Yeah. I'm about it. If you ever get to the States, we'll have a drink, that's for sure. Or if I ever come to Italy. It could happen one day. I would love to get to Italy. My both my grandparents on my dad's side are Italian, so I always wanted to get over there. I never really knew my grandfather on that side, but my grandmother, she spoke better Italian than she did English. Unfortunately, I only picked up when I was way too young. I only picked up the words I wasn't supposed to hear. but I think that's the way it goes for all secondary languages, right? You always hear the words that you're not supposed to hear and start repeating them. I guess it's true for first languages too, because the first time you say some kind of swear, your kids are running around the house saying it, right? Luke in a few months, if anybody's down for a drink and some Warhammer. Luca. I don't know where Luca is, but yeah. 16 years. Yeah, I know. Your mom went not too long after my dad. Still seems like yesterday. Wife's family, Luca. Oh, in Italy. If only. I would love to. I unfortunately am in the United States, or fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to look at it, I'm in the United States, so getting to Italy is not exactly easy. We're also not huge travelers as far as my family goes. But I always wanted to go to Italy. I was a little kid. I wanted to go to Italy. I guess when I get to the point where I can afford to travel. But I have a Warhammer addiction, so I don't know about that. I have too many hobbies. Yeah, Floridian. Um, so we're not that far apart. I'm in Pennsylvania though, so it's a little bit farther away. But right. Florida is more reasonable at this point. So I could just hit you up when you get home. Venezuelan born, but all Northern Italian family. Nice. Isn't isn't that? Oops, I clicked the wrong one. Isn't that how it always is with Italians? Though you're either Northern or Southern Italian. There's always a big difference. only, only when it matters to Italians. I got a little bit of both of best of both worlds, I guess, because my grandfather was Northern Italian. My grandmother was. I'm sorry, my grandfather was Northern Italian. My um, grandmother was Sicilian. She would hit you? Oh boy. I could see that. Let's see. In Italy, especially, it's noticeable. Italy has been a country for little more than a century, and we have been different countries for 1,000 years before that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of it's kind of the same in the U.S. It's like nobody ever claims to be nobody. We all claim to be Americans, but like everybody's so regionalized in the U.S. Obviously, the U.S. is a lot bigger than Italy, but it is funny because like there's plenty of southern people, and then there's Floridians, and then there's the Midwesterners, which is not actually in the West, and then there's actually the West Coast people, like the Californians, and then there's the Upper Northwest, and then the Northeast, and then you know Texans because they're different too. But it's funny to see Italy, that's a much smaller country, do the same kind of thing. Yeah, New World type stuff. It is very strange, though. It's very strange. I like it. I like those little idiosyncrasies that happen in countries like, you know, backgrounds and stuff like that. Um, so okay, let's address this here. It says, "Hey y'all, any advice on how to get into the lore of Warhammer 40k? Looks super interesting but intimidating." Um, the one thing that I would get into for lore, there are about 150 different YouTubers that do lore all the time. Um, Balderov's is a really good one. I think it's Balder something. He's really good. I like him, but he's a little more on the dry side. Um, but it's all facts. If you want a good, fun 40k lore, you want to check out Laying Down the Lore. They are on podcast or on YouTube. They do curse a lot. They do make crude jokes all the time. There are three Scottish. I think they're all Scottish, if I remember correctly. They're all British, Scottish. They're from the UK. Let's make this clear. They're from the UK. I absolutely love listening to these guys. So you can check out Laying Down the Lore. I listen to them. They are on TikTok. They do little shorts and stuff like that. They also have a YouTube channel. If and they break it down, they break everything down. So I think like their average episode is like an hour and a half. 1 Die 4 channel was good. That was a real good lore one. Imperial, yeah, that one's a good one too. This one here, the Imperialator, I don't know that one. Pancreas, no work. Okay, I'll go with that. I'll have to check them out myself. Let me look. I gotta look that up because I know that one. But laying down the lore is I laugh to myself listening to that one, and they actually have good content. It's three guys close to my age, and all they do, it's one guy explaining the lore to to his brother and to one of their friends, and it's absolutely ridiculous how funny it is. Let me see if I can pull this up. The one that I like a lot, and I don't even know that he's doing it much anymore. Oh wait, maybe it's Balder. Mort. Oh, wait. Yes, Baldermort's Guide to Warhammer. So BALDERMORT Guide to Warhammer. I like his. They're very on point to what they do for the lore. Like I said, he's got a nice kind of a monotone voice, so it's easy to just listen to in the background. His videos are just a still picture. Yeah, there you go. He's got it. Baltimore's Guide to Warhammer. Arbiter Ian's okay. I don't listen to him as much. The other one, if you want just kind of like a basic snarky one, Wes Hammer's okay. He does a lot of weird things sometimes, though, so not every episode kind of hits well. I kind of want to do lore, but I'm always afraid of not doing it 100%, and the time involved to do lore videos is kind of ridiculous. So it does get very, time intrusive, shall we say. It will take probably 10 hours to create an hour-long lore video, at least the way it should be done right. I don't really have that kind of time, so but I would love to do lore or something like that. I think I could do it something more like laying down the lore, where I sat here and explained lore to other people, and they could ask questions and stuff like that. I'd probably be better with that. I did that. Actually, if you go back in this, I explained Warhammer to one of my friends who never really knew about Warhammer, and that was really a fun episode. So you could probably look back in my videos, and there's a video where I explain, probably almost a year, well, probably over a year ago now, where I explained Warhammer to one of my friends on the YouTube, on the channel. So that would actually be a pretty decent one to listen to. I had a lot of people that really was into that, but it's very surface level. But yeah, those are the ones I would go with. I like Baldermort a lot. I like laying down the lore. Absolutely, I die laughing over those guys. So this is laying. I can't type. I don't know what I'm doing. I also can't see. Shorten this up a little bit. So laying down. Yeah. So laying down the lore. That's the it. If you want to laugh while you're getting your Warhammer fix, they're definitely a fantastic listen. I don't even know what they're up to right now, but they even did all the different. They talked about the Horse Heresy and different factions and explained all the factions, and they dive into the different units. They have a fantasy one too, which I think they started with first. I can't recommend them enough because I literally it's literally one of those YouTubes that I'm like I just like I'm almost talking back to the screen even though I'm just watching them. So anyway, so you'll give them a look. Also, any model kit recommendations that don't require me to sell an organ. Love the guardsmen, but they are so expensive. I'm going to tell you, I agree with Custodes is probably one of the cheapest armies, and probably one of the easiest to paint. I 100% agree with that. If you're looking for anything, you could actually go back to the videos that I did. We did Combat Patrol to Crusade, which is basically taking a Combat Patrol box and moving it up to Crusade. I think we did a pretty good breakdown as to what you would need to purchase to upgrade from that Combat Patrol box up. In most cases, that Combat Patrol box, no matter what you get, it's $170 or equivalent somewhere else. But that's probably your best bet to get into anything that you want to play. And it's a great pickup for somebody that's trying to learn the rules of 40K. There's some differences, but it will still give you the basic idea of what you're playing with. My recommendation for anything, if you want to play guardsmen, kind of get into it. Whatever is aesthetically pleasing is to you is probably the army that you want to play. It's going to keep you more interested. It's going to keep you more motivated to paint more. If you have models that you really like to paint, really like to play with. I have Astra Militarum. I only have like 30 basic guardsmen troopers and some Kasserkins, a little bit of Tempestus, and everything else I have is tanks. So, tanks are always that fun purchase. I think it's more worthwhile, and the Astra Militarum tanks hit better for me. I think they're a little bit better of a tank all around than most of the other ones. Chris here says also CSM. I think it's a good candidate. We have, and I counted, more bundles and discount boxes than any other faction. Yes. And he also added, it has more trim to paint than most of the others, which isn't great. But if you like the aesthetic of it, it really works out for you. I really like he's right. And Space Marines are the same way. Space Marines are really easy to get because every startup box, every learning to play box, every, almost everything that comes out has a Space Marine box involved. So Space Marines are really easy to get into, and they really give you that basic military feel. And yes, the Rogaldorns are freaking amazing. I love that tank. Love it. And again, that's one of those where it's cost effective. As far as points to model, yeah, you're getting one tank, but you're paying what is it? What is a Rogaldorn now? $95. I think it's a little more on the expensive side, but it's 200 some points. Yes, Space Marines don't. Yeah, Space Marines, I feel like it's a trap. They're cheap and easy to paint, but they get updated constantly with new stuff. Chaos Space Marines do not. So yeah, I agree with that. Space Marines get a lot of updates. To me, it's either way. I do think that if you love the aesthetic of regular Space Marines, you're going to do well with regular Space Marines. If you like the Chaos Space Marines, the look of the Chaos Space Marines, I agree. The bundle boxes are kind of amazing. The question is, how complex are minis to paint? It looks quite intense. I'm going to go with, I enjoy painting. Let's start with that. So I don't think it's a chore. I think every range has a model that kind of sucks to paint, and every faction has some that are really easy to paint. Tower really easy to paint. Necrons are really easy to paint for basic. This is just basic. Space Marines are really easy. Regular Space Marines are really easy to paint. And Astra Militarum are really easy to paint. Custodes are pretty easy to paint. It really more depends on what you want out of the miniature. And I know that's kind of a convoluted way to answer a question, but really, it really depends on what you're looking to get out of it. Not only from faction to faction, but it also the tech. Yeah, painting gets easier the longer you do it. I could say that for a fact. Yeah. Chris has it right there. It can go from I can paint my army in 3 days to this is now my life. Again, I think the big thing is you used to paint World War II models. I've heard Warhammer minis are more complex. It's really a different, yeah. I mean, it's really a different technique. If you're painting like something like bolt action or something like that, it's very similar to Warhammer, at least in my opinion. I mean, I paint Warhammer, I paint Legion, like Star Wars Legion, I paint Shatterpoint, Age of Sigmar, fantasy, D&D models I've painted. It really depends on how far into the thing that you're really diving into, because you can paint, D&D models like a black dragon, which is black with highlights and shades and stuff like that. And I know I'm getting off subject a little bit. And that's perfectly good. And then, of course, you can always move up to painting Warhammer, which obviously is a little more detailed, but still looks good. And really, the quality of what you're painting, compared to the style that you're looking for, it makes a really, really big difference. Yes, that's what Chris said is incredibly true. World War II models, people are obsessed with colors. You have to have the exact blue that they use to make it look more realistic. Warhammer is a whole lot more flexible, and I guess that's probably where I was going to end up with that. But Chris definitely hit the nail on the head with that. You can make anything in most cases, and this is 100% true. In most cases, if you bring painted models, there will be somebody that thinks you're a genius at painting, and there'll be somebody that thinks you're terrible. And doesn't matter how good of a painter you are. That's pretty much the way it always is. And you can walk in with your army that you're like super thrilled with, and look how much I spent 6 months painting, and you're going to look at the army across the table and be like, oh my God, I paint like a 3-year-old with crayons and, watercolors. And then there's going to be people that you line up against on the table, and you're going to be like, did they even try? And it's just that kind of range. It really, really is. You will always see people that paint at different levels, always. So it's one of those things where you just enjoy it and make it your own thing. That's about the best answer I can give you. Just make it your own thing, and be happy with what you end up with, or keep painting it. I got my son into painting, and he has repainted some of his models like 4 times because he's just not happy with it. And that's because he's grown as a painter as he's painted. And now that's all he wants to do is make sure that his models look really good. So he's definitely fallen into this is my life category. Again, I answer questions pretty long. But I don't think every scenario is the same for everyone. If you've already painted, you already have an idea what you're going to be painting. If you're a military painter, so that's Magnus the Red. He is the Demon Primarch of the Thousand Suns. This is probably one of the biggest single model Warhammer 40k miniatures that there is. Knights excluded, because they're a whole nother level. Which I probably should bring my knight over here at some point. But, I mean, for size comparison, he's that big. An orc is that big. So, he is quite large. But that's the cool part about Warhammer, is you can make anything your own. And like that Magnus, I've seen so many people do him in so many different colors, from dark reds to bright pinks to glittered. So you can kind of do whatever you want, and more to the point, everybody just kind of loves it. Yes, Primarchs are basically the daddy demigods of legions. Half of them are chaos, half of them are imperial, or vile sons of Magnus. I don't know. I don't know about all that. Magnus did nothing wrong. And if you're interested in lore, look that up. Because that's a whole scenario in itself. No, but Thousand Sons are very interesting. They're one of the original Space Marine legions. They are literally sorcerers. I don't know about that. Erebus, nothing wrong. I know. Erebus just had daddy issues. But then again, I guess all the Primarchs kind of did when it really comes down to it. That's pretty much the Horus Heresy in a bundle, isn't it? Yeah. There are absolutely canon colors, but there are also a lot of minor war bands and chapters. You can create your own. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the best thing. No, there's no canon colors. I mean, there is. So, I mean, like, your basic legions have, and I'm just going to use Space Marines as the example here. Your basic legions have their color scheme. The coolest thing is whether they're a warband, a heretic, or a loyalist. There's essentially successor chapters. So your basic army, and for example, and just to make this a little bit easier to talk about, is the Ultramarines. Ultramarines are basically, if you look at any Warhammer Space Marine art right now, it's all the little blue guys in Space Marine armor. Right? So, but they have like 100 different successor chapters. Wait, do I have my book here? Oh, I don't have it right here. No, I don't have it here. Or do I? Yes, I do. Hold on one second. So just using current lore at the moment. So let me see if I can find the page here. Ultramarines. These guys. Right? Guys in blue. Space Marines. Best of the best. They do their thing. They wrote the codex. They know everything that's going on. Right? Let me see if I can find a page here real quick. I think I'm going the wrong way. When it comes to trying to think of where all those successor chapters are. I think they're back further. So you can have ones, yellow ones, or this one, or gray ones. Chris plays his own war bands. There's different gray ones. There's white ones, white and black. There's even green ones. Those are salamanders, though. But subjugators, which are green. Stormlords, which are white and red. So, and these are all basic Space Marines. There's nothing special about them, nothing unique about them other than their color scheme. And you can, and same thing with the Astra Militarum. You can basically paint them any color you want. And whatever makes you happy, whatever color palette, if you want to paint them like 1940s German soldiers, you can do that. If you want to paint them like Japanese samurai, you can paint them like that. Everything is acceptable. And that's the best part about the Warhammer, is the lore's out there. My son created his own warband, just like Chris did. He calls them the Astro Claws. They're a lot like Night Lords, but he's got blue with silver instead of blue with gold. Yes. German soldiers in Warhammer. Yes. So yeah, red scorpions. But I mean, yeah, Astra Militarum. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, so like Astra Militarum, you can paint them any color. I did mine. Mine are gray, dark gray jumpsuits with black armor. I actually mimicked Starship Troopers because I wanted to use them to fight Tyranids in their lore. Funny. So I did them specifically to go against one of my friends who played Tyranids, just to kind of harass them a little bit. And in fact, at the time, like, I bought Valkyries because they were good drop troops, so I could drop off infantry. Everything was mobile. Because I like the idea of the mobile infantry. So yeah, so you can really do whatever you want, and it's actually in the lore to do whatever you want. That's kind of the best part of the lore. War bands are the same way for Chaos. There's plenty of specific war bands, and then of course it really gets into the basic legions. Right. Service guarantees citizenship. 100%. Yep. Red scorpions, gray and black with a red symbol, obsessed with racial purity. They themselves have the purest gene seed. That's what they think. So that you have the red scorpions. Oh, pretty awesome. Love it. Absolutely love it. So, no, that's love it. Absolutely love it. So, well, I think for me, it's going to be about time that I get off of here and go do my winding down for bed and stuff like that. But I definitely thank everybody for coming in. Just remember, if you want, we do have the Discord server up. If you want to join, the link is in the channel description. Hold on. It was a commission, but the guy just wanted a cool chapter, and one of the coolest I could think of that wasn't Howling Griffins. I agree with that, because painting that one would have killed me. Yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. So yeah. So there's a link in the Discord. We're starting to get some conversations going. My son's kind of moderating. So everything's going a little slow, but it is up and running. Link is in the channel description. As always, remember, like, subscribe, hit the notification. If you just want to hang out and paint, we're doing this every Thursday night now. So, God willing, of course, we'll be on here 7:30. So come on and hang out. Hit that notification bell, and we'll tell you when I get on. It's never exactly 7:30, but it's always close enough. So, yeah, just let me know. And if there's anything that you want to talk about during the show, we're gonna put a discussion thing. You can always comment on the videos. I respond to everyone every time I see something. So you can always do that. So, all right. So we'll see you next week about 7:30. And like I said, everybody that did come on, thanks for hanging out with me. And I hope you have a fantastic night. And we'll see you next week.